The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, Sandy, Vicani, Insurance Agency Marketing. I am so grateful that everyone is attending this webinar this morning. I head up the Life Division here at IMES, and again, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. Just greatly appreciate it. I am going to go through just a couple house cleaning items before we turn this over to good friend of IMES with EquiTrust and Jason, and he will go over some great opportunities with EquiTrust on the single premium life side. So here at IMES, we have something called an IMES Business Builder, and what that is when you refer an agent over to us and that agent gets contracted, what we do is we send you a check for $50, and that's our way of just saying thank you for entrusting us with that referral. When that same referral writes and places business with IMES, we give you 20 basis points on each piece of placed business from that point on. That is indefinite. It does not come out of your commission. It does not come out of their commission. Again, that comes from IMES as a big thank you for trusting us with that referral. What we have for all agents is something called a marketing reimbursement account, and what that is for every $100,000 of placed premium, whether that's life, annuity, MedSup, long-term care, combination thereof, we put $100 in a marketing reimbursement account. So kind of think of that as a business savings account. That continues to build as long as you're placing business. It rolls over each year, so it's you never lose any of that money. And when you're ready, you can submit a business invoice. So if you had to purchase a computer or you purchased a website, you did a seminar, whatever business-related expense there is, submit that invoice to us. We'll pay up to 50% of what that invoice is as long as you have that much money in your account. We also have something for all brand new agents. In your first 6 months of getting contracted with us, we give you an additional incentive. So if you place $100,000 of business with us in your first 6 months, you can choose a 2-year producer website, or you can choose a $750 cash bonus. If you'd like to hold off and you think, gosh, I'm going to place $300,000 of business with IMES in my first 6 months of being contracted, you can choose a $1,500 gift card. You can choose a $2,000 marketing reimbursement deposit, and that's that business savings account per se that I just spoke about. Or you can choose a Social Security program and 3,000-piece mailing. If you'd like to hold off and you think, gosh, I'm going to go gangbusters here and place $500,000 of business with IMES, whether, again, that's life, annuity, MedSup, long-term care, combination thereof, you can choose a 4,000-piece mailing and seminar coaching with a top producer of ours, Dave Pimper, a 5,000-piece mailing and seminar coaching with another top producer of ours, Matt Gill. Or you can choose my favorite. I say it every time. I'm sure some of you who attend these webinars hear me every single time, but it truly is my favorite, is a Ritz-Carlton Travel Rewards Getaway Package where you plan your own destination getaway. Again, this does not come out of anyone's commissions. This just comes directly from IMES as a big thank you. And then I believe we have such strong back office support when we try to save you time from the very beginning. And when we send you the contracting, it's a short contracting packet. You fill the information out, you circle whatever carriers you're interested in, send it back to us, and then we set you up electronically. So anytime in the future you'd like to get contracted with another carrier, just give us a call and we can complete that contracting for you. We do case design assistance, helping you decide what's the best avenue to go with your client. We do life and annuity quotes. We send you applications and service forms. We give you top sales expertise and coaching. And then what I think is really important out of all of this is a submission to commission support. And what we mean by that is when you submit a piece of business, we are scrubbing that application, make sure nothing's missing. We're giving you a call the same day and let you know we received the application. If any exams and labs were needed, we get those ordered for you, and then we submit that piece of business the same day to the carrier. We are following this case every 3 days we're looking at this case to make sure it stays on track, make sure that there aren't any hiccups, and if there are, that we get those fixed and completed, and we get that policy issued and placed out the door to make sure that your client receives their policy and that you receive your commission just as quickly as possible. We also have a strong creative team, and gosh, if you've seen any of our life and annuity books, our newsletters, our website, our webinars here themselves, those are done with our creative marketing team. So whether you're speaking to Jacob, Sean, or Aaron, they can help you with flyers and handouts. If you have a logo design that may be a little tired, it needs to be refreshed, we can help create one for you. Personal website for your business, actually. So if you have one, again, that needs to be refreshed, or you don't have one, we'll create and manage that for you. Online newsletters or mailed newsletters. Social media advertising, really big right now. So if any of you are on Facebook and you see all the advertisements on Facebook and you'd like to know how to do that, get your name out, get your agency's name out there, give our creative team a call. They can assist you with that to make sure we get you as much exposure as possible. And then again, briefly touching on our website here, our creative team does an outstanding job on our website. That is at www.iamsinc.com. And on that website, every single time you call up and ask for a quote, we are going to this website. So we run your term and UL quotes, we run your annuity quotes, we send you out the forms on here. You can look at our current top 5 annuity MIGA carriers. You can pull different industry links and current news. Our webinar schedule is on here, as well as all of our recorded webinars. If you have any E&O that is about to expire, or you don't have E&O and you'd like to know a price for that or get a quote for that, you can do that on our website. And then we also have a sales resource library. It is a great opportunity for you to go on there for educational videos. You can pull up for single premium life, for a key man, buy, sell, when to do an income rider on an annuity. If you want to pull any questionnaires, you can pull those right from our sales resource library. If you're not registered or signed up for our website, I encourage you to do so. It's a great tool. This is available 24/7, and we also have a mobile link. If any of you are interested in having me send that out to you, I'll be more than happy to do that, and that'll go direct to your phone. So I'm going to put out a poll question here, and by checking yes, you're just asking for additional information. So when the DOL ruling came out, there was a lot of changes and uncertainty, and we thought here at IAMS, you wanted our agents to have an opportunity to capture as much revenue as possible from their clients without them going outside of you as the agent. And so what we did is we created an IAMS Wealth Management division. And the reason we did that is to help you increase revenue, whether it's through managed money fees, improve client retention. So again, you're able to offer your clients a full range of products and services. They don't have to go outside of that circle, and they don't have to go to another agent to invest their money. And then it also strengthens your clients' relationships with you because you're viewed differently. You're viewed as a fiduciary. If anyone thinks that this DOL ruling is done or it's not going to change, you're wrong. It is ever changing. So if you'd like more information on how this is going to affect you and what the current news is, please check yes on the poll, and we'll be happy to get that information out. If you're interested, if you have a Series 65 and you want to think about moving, we can help you with that. If you don't have a Series 65 and you want to know what the steps are, check yes, we'll give you that information. And then if you're just to the point where you don't want to get a Series 65, but yet you want to know how you can capture this additional revenue, check yes. We'll let you know how we're able to assist you on doing that. Again, there's been a lot of changes with the DOL ruling. Some help our industry. Others we're waiting to find out. So check yes, we'll get you out that information and make sure we get you up to date just as quickly as possible. We also have a Life and Annuity Academy. This is such an amazing opportunity. This is industry recognized, and what we do is we have these about 3 a year. We have one coming up March 13th through the 15th. That one's closed. But then we also have another one coming up May 8th through the 10th that I know EquiTrust will be a part of. This is an all expense paid trip. We cover your airfare, your lodging, your meals. We have close to 1,000 agents register. We choose between 35 and 40. And it is a 2-day training that includes different sales ideas and strategies, from top producers all over the United States. We unravel indexed annuities and when's a great time to use one, when's a great time to utilize an income rider. We go over different threats and trends and how to overcome client objection. We go over different seminar systems and what works best in your region, whether it's coffee and cookies in a library or whether you have a more formal sit-down dinner seminar, large life case marketing with single premium life and the private financing or the infinite banking. We go over different wealth transfer tools. We go over software tools and advertising and the marketing aspect of it. And then we go over different sales topics. Again, we pay for everything. If you're interested in getting more information to see if you're a good fit, check yes, and we'll make sure to get that information out to you. Again, our next one is May 8th through the 10th. So in addition to each carrier having great commission and amazing trips, we here at IAMS thought it was really important to have an incentive here for our agents. And so what we have is a 2019 Marketing Summit. That is happening August 25th through the 29th of this year. And if you're in the Midwest and you're seeing the 2 feet of snow and we're having more this weekend, Naples, Florida at the Ritz-Carlton sounds even more amazing, and that's where it will be. So we try to get as many agents and their guests there as possible. So we have long invitational periods. We have from January 1st, 2018 all the way through June 30th, 2019. And you are able to attend with a combination of placed business, whether it's $3 million of annuity premium, $1.5 million of Medicare SEP, $2.25 of single premium life, $250,000 of life target premium, or $600,000 of long-term care premium. Again, if you're interested in attending, it's an amazing opportunity. It's a beautiful trip. We just want as many agents and their guests there as possible. The only way to get there is to make sure you're contracted and writing and placing business with us. If you have additional questions on that, I'll be happy to get those answered for you as well. So what I'm going to do now is turn this over to Jason Goodrich. He is our go-to person with EquiTrust. He does such an outstanding job for IAMS. We value our relationship with EquiTrust and with Jason. And, it's just a great opportunity to go over these great single premium life products and how you should really have EquiTrust and these single premium life products in your back pocket. So Jason, if you'd like to take over.
Thank you, Sandy. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. As Sandy said, my name is Jason Goodrich, and I am one of the national account managers here with EquiTrust Life Insurance Company. First off, I just want to thank everyone for taking time away from your busy schedules this morning to join me for an overview of 2 exciting and what you'll see as very competitive single premium life products from EquiTrust. I know everyone's busy, and I don't want to take too much of your time this morning, so I'll try to keep the presentation to around 20 minutes or so and just cover the products and the positioning of the products at a very high level. However, as we go through the presentation, please write down any questions you have, and obviously I'd be happy to address anything I can at the end or after the presentation. What we'll be covering today is the Secure Suite Life and the Growth Suite Life single premium life products, which we just rolled out probably about the middle of last year. As you may know, EquiTrust has been a leader in the single premium life space for 9 years now, and we continue to be so with these two products. Lastly, let me just thank Sandy and all the great folks over at Insurance Agency Marketing. They've been a top marketing organization with EquiTrust on both life insurance and annuities since the very beginning of EquiTrust 15 plus years ago. So we really appreciate their support and their long-term partnership. With that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, as I mentioned, we have two single premium life products, and they both kind of fit a different client to some extent. So we have the Secure Suite Life, which is really all about guarantees. Okay, so that's our single premium life product that's just guarantees. So it has a guaranteed death benefit, has guaranteed cash values, has a guaranteed return of premium after 4 years, has guaranteed chronic illness benefits and other living benefits. So really about guarantees, really designed for what I would call almost a super senior client, so maybe age 65 to 85. Then the other product is the Growth Suite Life. And we'll get into more detail on both of these, but the Growth Suite Life does not have the same guarantees as the Secure Suite Life does. But what you and your client get in exchange for that is you're going to get a very high face amounts, actually the highest face amounts in the industry for a simplified issue product, the highest caps in the industry for any life product. Because of the high face amounts, you'll see it has really strong living benefits that we'll get into, and does have a lot of liquidity options as well. So I consider it more of a younger client. Really kind of the sweet spot is age 45 to 70 on the Growth product, where it's more 65 to 85 on the Secure product. So two great products that kind of fit two different client needs. And we'll get into depth on both here in just a second. Okay, when you look at single premium life, we really see two kind of key positionings of a client that might want to buy it. And it's really kind of 50-50 between clients that are looking for wealth transfer, which is here, and this is a good example of wealth transfer. So they have $50,000. The immediate death benefit is going to triple in this scenario, which is a 55-year-old. So $50,000 premium gets them $155,000 of tax-free death benefit. So obviously, if their goal is wealth transfer, it makes a lot of sense. But the other one we see more and more of over the last few years is people looking for a solution for chronic illness benefits, an alternative to traditional long-term care. And these products also can be a great fit in that situation. And once again, that's probably about half of our sales in these products. So same example, $50,000 is going to give your client over $150,000 in living benefits. What that would amount to is over $2,500 a month to help pay for home health care. Okay, so $50,000 gives them over $2,500 a month to pay for home health care. And we'll get into more on that in a little bit, but those are really the two key positionings, wealth transfer or somebody that does not have adequate long-term care and is looking for an alternative solution to that. Okay, I always like to talk about the source of funds because as most of you know, with annuities, a lot of what we see is replacement business. On the annuity side, probably 70% of the business we get at EquiTrust is replacement of another annuity or life insurance policy, and I think that's pretty standard in the industry. However, that is not what we see with single premium life insurance. With the single premium life insurance, over 90% of what we get into these products is coming from either a CD or some sort of liquid account, like a checking account, a savings account, a money market account, a mutual fund. Like I said, over 90% of it. So it's typically money clients have setting in a liquid position that for one reason or another they've not wanted to put in an annuity or something else. But for those clients, single premium life can make sense, and we'll talk about that. We also do see a little bit of business coming from other annuities. So if someone has an old annuity they've had that they don't need for any reasons, it's just been sitting there for many years, could make a lot of sense to put in the life insurance policy. And also old life insurance policies. Maybe they have an old life insurance policy that they're still having to put money into to keep it in force. Or they have an old whole life policy that's going to mature soon. It could make sense for them to do a 1035 exchange into a paid up policy as well. Another one thing that can scare people away sometimes is underwriting. So I want to start off before I get into the products by talking about the underwriting process. It is the same with both of these products. And about a year ago, we changed our underwriting process and went to a completely point of sale process. Okay, so it's immediate decisions. Basically what will happen is, excuse me, there's some pre-qualification questions on the application, and in order to qualify, they must answer no to all those questions. Okay, so if you're looking at the application or looking at our agent guide and your client would answer yes to any of those questions, they would not be a candidate for this. Okay, but if they answer no to all the questions, they will be a candidate and should be able to get approved. Okay, in no situations are we going to do exams or fluid draws, urine or blood or any of that. The only other thing other than the application is going to be the phone interview. Now, phone interview is done at point of sale. So what would happen is you would complete the application, they would answer no to all the health questions, then you as the agent or advisor would initiate a phone call, and there's a cover sheet on the application that gives detailed instructions on how to do that. The interviewer would ask you a couple questions and have you hand the phone to your client. And all they would do is kind of repeat the questions that you already asked them on the application, just to verify all the no answers. Assuming at the same time they will check like a prescription check and an MIB. Assuming everything's good there and there's no red flags that pop up that contradict how they answered any of the health questions, they will get the approval right then. Okay, they will do a conditional approval on the phone to you, letting them know your client's been approved for this. That is for all cases where the premium is under $250,000. In none of those situations will we order medical records or APSs, okay? They'll just get the decision then, it'll be done. You send the app in, fund it, and we'll get it issued. However, if the premium is over $250,000, then we do take one additional step. So it's the same process, but we will do an additional step in ordering an APS. Okay, that will be ordered by EquiTrust, and it's really just to verify all the information. Okay, so that's every case 250 and above. If it's below 250, we never do APSs, and you get the decision during your meeting with the client. And we do real-time notifications through email. We post real-time on our website. Also, if you have the mobile app on your phone of EquiTrust, you get notifications right there on your phone that it was approved. Liquidity. Sometimes people think about life insurance, they think, well, you know, you can't ever access that money, and that's absolutely not the case with these products. They do have some liquidity options within them. Both of them offer a free withdrawal that we'll talk about one time per year. The Secure Suite Life product has, as I mentioned a little bit ago, has a graded return of premium after year 4, so guaranteed to get their money back after 4 years. They both have accelerated death benefit riders, which we'll get into, which, as I mentioned earlier, is one of the key features of the products. And then the Growth Suite product does not have the return of premium, but it does have some liquidity through wash loans that we'll get into. So very liquid products, both of them. They both have the same living benefit rider, excuse me, and with the living benefit rider, it is included automatically on every policy we issue in the states that the rider is approved, which is the majority of the states. There is no cost to it, so it's automatically included free of charge. If they ever have to use the rider, then there is a one-time charge of just $250. Okay. It's a very attractive rider. There are 3 different triggers that would trigger that rider to kick in and us to pay out. First would be terminal illness, which would be a letter from the doctor stating that they have less than 12 months to live. If that's the case, we would pay out. We would take the death benefit and we'd pay 95% of that in a lump sum tax-free to them. The second trigger is nursing care confinement, which would be defined as 90 consecutive days in a nursing care facility. If they meet that requirement, they have the option to either take a lump sum of 85% of the death benefit, or they could take 100% of the death benefit over 3 years, which is what most people would do. So that would be just whatever the death benefit is, divided by 36 months. That's what we would pay them each month to help pay for nursing care confinement. Okay. We would report this on a 1099 LTC form. Obviously, it'd be up to them to meet the LTC requirements on it from a tax perspective, but that's how we would report it. Then the third trigger, and really the one most people look to, is what we call chronic care. Others refer to as chronic illness. That is just the loss of 2 of 6 activities of daily living for 90 days and expected to be permanent. Okay, they do not need to be confined to a facility for this. So this could be home health care, for example. And once they qualify under this, they get the option of either 75% of the death benefit in a lump sum, or once again, what most people are going to choose is 100% of the death benefit over 5 years. Okay, I'll show you an example of this in a little bit, but the chronic illness benefit on this is very competitive and very strong, as you will see. Okay, let's get into the product specs a little bit, and then I'll walk you through a case example. The Secure Suite Life product, and that's the one I mentioned at the beginning, that's really designed for guarantees, okay, and then more of a 65 to 85 age. You see the issue ages there are 45 to 85. Minimum premium is $10,000. The maximum is based off a face amount, so a face is $750,000. So the premium max would be dependent on their age. This is a guaranteed death benefit, right? So it's not going to lapse, so it's guaranteed to age 121 and has a 10-year surrender schedule on it. Now, it does have index options that we'll talk about, and because of that, there's growth potential within it. So you have all these guarantees, but you also get potential of growth. It has a premium bonus. So 5% up front, which gives it a nice little kickstart. It actually, what it does is it actually increases the death benefit above the guaranteed death benefit immediately because of that premium bonus. I mentioned the return of premium, so this is graded in. So it starts at 88% return of premium immediately and then works its way up until the end of year 4, where it's 100% return of premium. Okay, so when you look at an illustration at the end of year 4, the guaranteed cash value will show more than their premium back, which is one of the reasons it works good for a savings account, money market account, something like that, because they know at some point, it's liquid and they can get their money back after 4 years. And then additional liquidity does have as a 5% penalty free each year they can take out if they need to. There's your rates and caps on it. You can see I have a 10% point-to-point cap on it, 3% monthly cap. We have a monthly average participation strategy with a 100% participation rate and no cap and no spread. So whatever it does on the averaging is what they would get credited. Then we also have a par account on our Dynamo strategy. That's our Goldman Sachs multi-asset strategy, which has a 135% participation rate on it. And there on the right, you just see kind of what it would illustrate at when you run the illustrations. So as you maybe know, the illustrated rate, the illustration is based off of the point-to-point strategy. So 6.09 is what it would illustrate at as a maximum. And of course, we're going to pay you well on it too. The commission's 8% up to age 75, 7.5 from 76 to 80, and still 5.5 from 81 to 85. We do pay daily commissions. As I mentioned, these are point of sale. So if we get a cash with app in today, it's very possible we could issue it tomorrow and EFT your commission the next day. So we can get paid very quickly on it. Okay, let's just look at a case example, kind of showing a typical case we might get. We have Linda here, age 55. She's got $50,000 in a CD earning 2%, which obviously that would be a really good CD rate. Her objective really with this money is just to leave it to her 2 grandkids when she passes on. She does have concerns for health-related expenses during her lifetime. She does not have adequate coverage there currently. And we're going to give Linda 3 options here. Number 1 is just to leave it in the CD and continue to earn that 2% rate, which is a good CD rate. Second would be to transfer it into an annuity and get a multi-year annuity at 3% rate. And the third would be obviously to purchase the Secure Suite Life policy. So first, let's look at the CD. Obviously, the CD is going to be taxed every year. So the immediate value is $50,000. In 10 years, that CD would have grown to $57,884 after taxes, and at 20 years, $67,494. Now, if we look at the annuity death benefit, obviously, it will grow tax deferred, but at death, in most cases, if they take the payout, it will be taxed. So at 10 years, that $50,000 would have grown to $62,381, and at 20 years, a little over $79,000. Now, if we look at the Secure Suite, there you can see it. It obviously is a life insurance policy, so it has an immediate tax-free death benefit. So day one, that $50,000 creates a $107,000 tax-free benefit to the beneficiaries. So whether they pass away immediately, 10 years, 20 years, 40 years later, whatever it is, it's guaranteed to be that $107,000 worst case scenario. However, as I mentioned, it is an index product, so there is growth potential in it, and that's what you see here. So you can see in 10 years, actually, based off the illustration, it's $145,000 plus death benefit. In 20 years, it's $174,000 plus. So you have the guarantee of 107, but there is obviously some potential for that to grow higher. One interesting thing about this chart, too, is And I talk about this when I do live presentations, but if you look at the CD, I'll ask the audience sometimes, how long will it take that CD at 2% to get to $107,000, which is the immediate death benefit? And the answer to that is 48 years. So if she left the money in the CD, it would take her 48 years to get to the immediate death benefit that the single premium life policy would give her. So obviously it's kind of a no-brainer if the goal is wealth transfer. Even the annuity, even though it's a 3% growing tax deferred, it would still take it 32 years to get to that $107,000. Right, so we're actually working on a supplement for an illustration to show that, which I think will help you at point of sale. We don't have that at this point, but putting numbers behind it really shows you the power of the single premium life insurance and really getting that death benefit, doubled immediately. Okay, let's look at the same example, but let's say Linda does not pass away, but she needs to access the money to help pay for a chronic illness or nursing care or terminal illness. So that $50,000 initial deposit is going to guarantee her $101,400 to pay for terminal illness. Once again, that's tax-free. For nursing care, it's going to guarantee her $29.65 a month for 3 years to pay for her nursing care confinement. That $50,000, and for chronic, it's $17.79 a month, guaranteed for 5 years to pay for that. Keep in mind, these numbers are all based off the guaranteed death benefit. As I mentioned earlier, it's based off of the current death benefit at the time. So it's very possible that the death benefit will be higher than the guarantee, and in turn, these monthly payment amounts will be higher. Okay. One nice thing about our illustration too is it will show these numbers on the illustration. Your client will see that they're guaranteed to get $17.79 a month for 5 years for chronic illness, as a worst case. And speaking of the illustration, we came out, I think probably last fall or so, with a couple supplements that you can have added to the illustration, which we've gotten really good feedback on, and agents and clients seem to really like. The first one here you see is called the Power of Guarantees. Let me see if I can show you this here. But this is all about showing the client the guarantees within the policy. I think it says guarantees 9 times here. So guarantees, and you can see here, guarantee, right? Guarantees, guarantee. Right, so it's all about showing guarantees to the client. So it shows the guaranteed death benefit, which is on the right, which is $107,000. It shows the guaranteed benefits monthly for nursing care, for chronic, for terminal, and it shows the guaranteed return of premium on the far left there of $50,000. So really just to point out kind of the worst case scenario on everything to them. We've gotten really good feedback on that. However, along with that, let me shut this off. Along with that, we created another one that looks very similar, but instead of being a Power of Guarantees snapshot, this is a life expectancy snapshot. So instead of looking at the guarantees, this supplement will show what their values could look like at their life expectancy. And in this case, for a 55-year-old female, her life expectancy is age 87. So kind of up at the top, you see where it says policy values at age 87. So you can see that the cash surrender value for that $50,000 actually is $165,000 at that point. Go over to the far right, the death benefit, instead of being $107,000, is $215,000. And then in the middle, where it talks about living benefits, you can see those values are a lot higher than they were on the previous one because it's based off of the current death benefit, not the guarantee. So this is just to show that, yes, these guarantees are great, and I think the client should be comfortable with the guarantees in the policy and performing that way, but there is a lot more potential to earn more within it too. So a couple supplements we have. This one does not print automatically with the illustration. You have to select it when Sandy or whoever's running the illustration for you to have included within there. Okay, that's a Secure Suite product. Next I want to talk about the other one, which we call the Growth Suite Life. And as I mentioned, this one does not have the same guarantees, but has really super high face amounts and growth potential within it. It is the same underwriting, so same simplified issue, standard table 4, point of sale underwriting. Some of the basic features of it, same issue ages 45 to 80. We do see a much younger client in this, typically around age 55 is kind of where we're seeing most of the business come in. Minimum premium is $25,000. The max is $750 face. Does have a 15-year surrender charge. As I mentioned, attractive face amounts. I'll show you an example in a second, but it does, as far as I know, it has the highest face amounts in the industry for a simplified issue product. Really competitive rates, has about some of the highest caps in the life insurance industry for any underwritten type product. Excuse me. It does not have the graded return of premium, but it does have a couple other liquidity options. It has a 10% penalty-free option each year when they get 10% of the account value out. It also has a zero net rate on loans after year 10. So it's a 15-year surrender charge, but after 10 years, they can take a loan at no cost. Okay, so they can loan from the policy at no cost, which is a nice feature, and you can actually even illustrate that on an illustration if they want to. Okay, and as I mentioned, this does not have a guaranteed death benefit. However, what I will say is for a 60-year-old with this, just in the guaranteed column of the illustration, so everything being worst case scenario, you know, the expense charge is going up, the COI is going up, stuff that's not going to happen. But even worst case scenario, it would carry to age 80. And then if you just use the fixed account rate, which is 5%, it carries to age 100. So it easily carries past their life expectancy, but it is something you have to consider. Okay, and then I mentioned the caps are some of the highest in the industry. You can see it's a 5% fixed rate, 13% on the point-to-point cap, 120% par on the monthly average. It has a point-to-point par account, which we've had a lot of success with on our annuity side and historically performed very well, has a 70% participation rate on that strategy. And then once again, our Dynamo Goldman Sachs strategy, 160% participation with no cap. And the highest illustrated rate would be 7.35. Keep in mind, you do not have to illustrate at the highest illustrated rate. You can pick an illustrated rate. You could use 3%, 4%, whatever you want to use. It's just 7.35 would be the maximum. Because this is more of a growth product too, we do pay higher commission on this than the guarantee product, and typically a younger client. So up to age 75, it's 11% commission, and from 76 to 80, it's still 9% commission. So a very attractive commission. I mentioned the face amounts and the high chronic illness benefits. Here's kind of a sample just showing you how high they actually are. So a 45-year-old, you're looking at over 5 times, right? So a $100,000 premium for that 45-year-old is going to give them a $527,000 death benefit. 50-year-old, $405,000. 55-year-old, over 3 times the 316. A 60-year-old, 2.5 times premium. And even at 65, it's still over double their premium as far as a face amount on it. And let me just highlight the 55-year-old here, because as I mentioned, that's a pretty good common age for us. You can see, because of the $316,000 death benefit, that's going to create a chronic care benefit of $52.63 a month for 5 years. Okay, it's going to create a nursing benefit of $87.71 a month for 3 years. If they pass away before all that's paid out, the remainder of either of those is paid in a lump sum to the beneficiary, so they're never going to lose the rest of that death benefit. However, I point out those numbers because, as you may or may not know, Genworth does an annual study showing kind of the average cost of care, and the average cost of home health care, and this is for 2018, was $4,100 a month, right? So you can see it's $52.63 a month. So this $100,000 premium is probably going to be enough to cover the average cost of healthcare depending on what state they live in. And the average cost of a private room for nursing care is $8,100 a month, and you can see the $100,000 gets them $87.71 a month. So really, with $100,000, they can go a long ways to covering that home health care or nursing care need down the road. Okay, shut this off, and then we do have a supplement on this one too. We do not have the guaranteed value supplement like we had on the Secure Suite, but we do have the life expectancy snapshot. So once again, this is showing a $50,000 single premium and what it would look like at age 87, which is their life expectancy. So that cash value you can see is $246. Go over to the right all the way and you see the death benefit is $258,000, which creates a monthly benefit of $7,100 for nursing care, $4,300 for chronic illness, and $245,000 lump sum for terminal illness. Okay, based off that $50,000 initial deposit. Okay, so when you look at the growth suite, I think there's kind of 4 things it really does. Number one, it has the accumulation potential long-term because of the very high caps and high growth potential. Number 2, the face amounts. As I mentioned, you know, it's the highest face amounts of any simplified issue product out there. The living benefits are really strong, and they're really strong because the face amounts are so high. High face amounts create high living benefit amounts. And last but not least, there still is liquidity in it with 10% free withdrawals and wash loans. Okay. We recently created a couple show books. We've had these with our old single premium life products, and now we've come out with these new ones. These are really nice client, old school flip charts, I call them. Okay, you can order the flip chart to be sent to you. You can sit down with the client, go through it. Really talks about the basics of single premium life insurance. It goes through a very similar case scenario that I just talked about a little bit ago. It shows kind of the clients the benefits of using life insurance and how an index works and things like that. We do them for both products. As I mentioned, you can order one, or they're available in PowerPoint or PDF form on our website. We had a lot of good feedback on them, so I always like to point those out. So kind of in summary, both products have the same underwriting process, point of sale, decision on the phone for all cases below $250,000, standard to table 4. Kind of featured product design, the Secure Suite Life is all about guarantees, guaranteed death benefit, guaranteed cash values, guaranteed return of premium. Where the Growth Suite, you trade in some of the guarantees for potential and for higher face amounts. And they both have the same living rider with the triggers for terminal illness, nursing home, or chronic care. Lastly, I just want to mention our website. The main thing I want to mention about this is to access our website, you have to be appointed with us. So I encourage you, if you have any interest in this at all, to give Sandy or someone else at IMES a call and get that process started. That way you'll have access to our website to see some different things and that we have out there. With that, that is all I have. So I appreciate everybody taking time this morning. And with that, I'll pass it back to Sandy.
Thank you so much. And so I'll put one last poll question out there, and of course we'll answer any questions that you may have. So if you are interested in getting contracted with EquiTrust, check yes. If you're already set up on a paperless contracting system, we'll get that completed for you. If not, we'll get that contract sent out to you and make sure that we get you contracted. Truly, they are a great carrier to work with. It is ease and access to them in the underwriting and new business stage. But what we find really important as well with carriers is how are they on service as well once the policy is placed. And they just do an outstanding job. So again, very fortunate to have EquiTrust as a friend of IMES. We really do count on them because they have such great products and just really competitive out there in the industry. So I want to thank everyone for attending. You will receive this webinar in a recorded version, so you'll have that later on today. If you have questions, of course, please give me a call. My name is Sandy Vicanti, and again, I head up the Life Division here at IMES. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have, and of course, run any quotes that you may need. Jason, again, want to thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule as well. We look forward to just an even more successful year with you than what we even had last year. So again, really looking forward to it. Everyone have a safe, healthy, and happy weekend. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.